Episode 292 Between Two Wheels podcast. We got stage 4, Dax to Nogaro, 181.8 kilometers. Pretty much boring until the last 3 kilometers. Then all hell broke loose. We do have a relegation. We have a win. We have a bunch of complaining cyclists as well. Coming up. Hang on.
Massive number of people have been upgrading. Yes,
there you go. You see the graceful limb that you were talking about before.
The race we've got yet again, and a victor then goes victory to an American Andy Hampton.
The felt to go by. He looks at the Colombian rider. How are you doing?
Straight past Santiago Patero, and he's coming up to Pantani.
Armstrong is sitting in the last few hundred meters as we come towards the finish of this monumental stage. And
as we start to approach the line now, Pantani grits his teeth and accelerates and over the line.
Is going now to win stage number 15. Sepp Kuss, an emotional finish from Durango in the USA. Sepp Kuss wins.
And welcome everybody. This is Tyler Yonke. We're doing stage 4, 4th of July. I'm gonna do it real quick because I got shit to do. I did a bike ride, and just look. This is always so frustrating. You try to play some clips, you try to get around these things, and you get a copyright strike on every little thing you do. Especially the ASO and some of these other people are real touchy with all this stuff. I'm not a fan at all of copyright law. I think it's bullshit. It's just a monopoly system that's set up. But with that in mind, we got to kind of deal with everything we do have. So if it continues, I may just go. There's there's the whole guilty until or innocent until proven guilty, right? Is that the idea is there's a presumption of innocence, right? And copyright law on YouTube is completely the opposite. They just go, oh, there's a possibility. Boom, they strike your account. They take it down. Other ones, they say, hey, someone files a claim. They've got to prove that it's not part of the 470 copyright law of fair use claims that you can do. And so it's a little bit different on those. With that in mind, there's Rumble, there's Odyssey out there. Maybe we'll try something else here in the future. But then we can actually watch stuff live. We can do it. Anyway, let's get right into the stage though today. Dax to Nogaro, 180 some kilometers for the most part. There was no, sprints having to worry, there was no climbs have to worry about really. So the riders, for the most part, Nelson Palace wasn't taking off. I don't think he really cared about that Cat 4. I didn't think there was any points to be on offer for the day. So it was actually really slow and boring. They did sprint for the sprint spot around halfway through, and who won it? Philipsen won it over Coquard, Ewan, Pedersen, Moyes, and then 2 guys took off, and no one really cared because it was all going to come down to a sprint finish. Now, I thought this was going to be on a racetrack. Let's say Daytona 500, a big circle. It was more like a go-kart track, honestly. And they kept talking about how it's going to be wide open. It wasn't. It was more chaotic. Now, going into this stage 4 here, I was watching on GCN this morning, and Jakobsen, he got 4th yesterday. He was with Lotto Sudal. He was complaining about the stage yesterday. He's like, it was, now is this, maybe it's a little language barrier, but he didn't like the way that the course was set up. He also didn't like the way that Alpecin went from one barrier to the other. And he's like, yeah, my team might've done that. Fuck yeah, dude, your team, sorry, the language here, your team totally does that. It's just that they do it with you in the front. And then he's like, yeah, I don't like races that are unfair. And I'm like, what gave him an advantage over you other than he being Phillips and then he had a lead out and you didn't? what your guy took off the front early. There, you couldn't coordinate. For somehow Van der Poel was there and he did a lead out. Why are you guys complaining? We do crits. There's corners. I understand it should be straight at the finish. I don't know what you want. Do you want it where there's a landing strip, an airplane runway, and they just come into that? Mende, they've had that race up there. You weren't up at the finish. Why? Because there was a climb to get up there. So and then some of these other guys are just complaining. Well, today, that's what you're going to end up having coming in here, because they come into, it's like 3 kilometers into the last bit. So the Jumbo's up there up front trying to make sure that their guy comes in first, and it's a little bit narrow, but then Jakobsen over here, he crashes. And I don't know exactly, I've tried to break this down, and they need an overhead shot because it looks like maybe he was trying to take Philipsen's wheel. Look, he's with no teammates here. Why is he not on a teammate's wheel? And he's trying to butt his way in here. Maybe it wasn't his fault. You don't need to be butting heads and pushing elbows, but that's what happens with sprinting. And if you're on your team, if your team is up there doing something. Now, look, right up here, there's Julian Alaphilippe, a little bit closer up to the front. Why are you not on his wheel? Or why is he not back leading you out? So anyway, 1.7, Jakobsen goes down. It looks kind of ugly. I think his bike was split open. They come around this other corner with just like 700 meters or so to go here. Look at that. There's Julian Alaphilippe still in the front, gonna cause problems getting people's way. And you see this bike back here. This is Luis Leon Sanchez trying to help out Mark Cavendish. And then you've got the Cofidis rider on the front here. He's taken off. I don't know if you're trying to help with Brian Coquard. Then you've got the Norwegian Oxondo team here on the front. Look, you don't see Wout here at all, but you see Mads Pedersen, you see Caleb Ewing, you see the 2 Cofidis, you see little Alaphilippe here, and over on the left, you see Biniam Girmay. Right to his right, you see Jesper Philipsen, and to his right, you see Groenewegen, and in front of Jesper is Matthew Van der Poel. Now let's back it up just a tad bit here. If you can see down at the bottom of the screen, sorry that the lines here, Biniam Girmay is right to the left of Matthew Van der Poel. Van der Poel is on the wheel of Cavendish, and over to Cavendish's right is Alaphilippe, and they're button heads there, Alaphilippe and Cavendish. But what you end up seeing, and we'll just click it here just a tad. Look at that move here that Van der Poel does to move Biniam Girmay out of the way. Now, I think this is actually a safer move out of the way, which is kind of elbow and forcing him over. Now, he gets relegated for this, okay? Matthew Van der Poel gets relegated. Doesn't matter. Biniam Girmay really doesn't have much anyway here. So it's kind of a ticky-tack type of thing. And by the way, him moving him out of the way this way is probably safer than you can see if you watch some of the rest of this stuff play on. Anyway, he clears it out. He opens a space for Philipsen. Now Groenewegen and Cavendish. This Cavendish guy, man, he's way over here on the right. And then as soon as these guys start breaking up, he looks over here and he goes, "Oh, I want that wheel." And he tries to go over to that wheel, but he can't quite get there. And now it's a 2
through the
There we go. Now it goes to overhead shot. And Matthew Van der Poel kicks hard. He gets a big gap here for Philipsen, and then Philipsen ends up going, and then you see a crash over here on the left, and maybe we'll break that down just a little bit. Philipsen barely holds off onto the line, beating out Caleb Ewing and who was third? Bauhaus again, maybe. Okay, over here on the right-hand side, you've got this Norwegian team leading his guy out. The sprint leader, he's done. Now, just look forward. Just look forward, look down, whatever you got to do, and just go straight and kind of hunker in and let people come around you. But he doesn't, and he starts to drift over a little bit to his right. And when he drifts over to his right, then I think it's Coquard over here on the right ends up cutting out from the barrier, clips his wheel. So it's kind of a combo. This is a racing move of these two guys both having a problem. The guy drifting back, drifted a little bit, went a little to the right, and then Coquard cuts him hard on the left. I mean, you both have problems here. I mean, Coquard, why are you coming off the barriers now? You're trying to hold this guy's wheel, the teammate to the Norwegian guy up there. But what happens is you end up taking your own guy out because the crash happens, and they're not really showing it, but the crash happens in the Cofidis rider and the Ondo X guy, they both go down. And here's the bike throw, slow-mo bike throw, and you had Philipsen getting the win. Now, Matthew van der Poel did a great sprint. There's Jakobsen, but Matthew van der Poel, he's not happy. This Cofidis guy was not happy either. He was yelling at the Norwegian guy, but kind of your own teammate caused the problem too. If Coulthard hadn't have cut, that other guy would have been drifting just fine, and you wouldn't have taken either one of you out. Plus, that was your sprinter. Why are you still sprinting from behind? So he went and yelled at this guy, but Uno X Sondo, whatever his team name is, Philipsen wins. Caleb Ewing second, Bauhaus for another second day. Second day in a row, you've got first and third, the same. Coulthard fourth, Cavendish, Van Poppel for Bora, Christoph so that was Christoph maybe up there for the Norwegian team. Uno X, whatever it is. Mesgit for Jaco in 8th place. So is Mesgit. That wasn't Groenewegen. Okay. Wout van Aert and then Pedersen. So somewhat interesting. Still got Yates in the yellow jersey. And the green jersey now goes to Philipsen. So there was a little bit of controversy. There's the race tomorrow. Goes to Pau to Laurens, and we hit a Cat 5, an Oars category and a Cat 3. And once again, I've told you, this is a prime chance tomorrow for Nilsen Palace to get up the road, hit the Cat 5. It's like a 80 some kilometers into the race. A Cat 5. Why do I keep calling it a Cat 5? HC category, climb the top category, above categories, get over there, get all the points or as many points as you can, and you're going to probably hold it to the day. Matter of fact, you go up and over that, there's a chance you maybe even get out to the Col de Escherey, the Cat 3. If you hold all the way to the Mary Blanc, that's pretty good. But you could probably time it. I don't know what all the points are, but you could probably time it to the point where you get maximum points over the Sudé, Col de Sudé, and you just sit up for the rest of the time. Who knows? 126 kilometers for the day. All right, that's pretty much what we have there. Let's just look real quick at the results. We'll break down. Actually, I wanted to look at this. Crash Blight Motor Circuit, Jakobsen, Guarneri, Mahoric, and Louis Leontin among the fallers. Cavendish didn't break the record. Jakobsen lost his chance. Caleb Ewing was up there. Look, it's a nice finish, but I thought it would be a bit more safe with wide roads. The turns were also tricky, especially going full gas in the turns. Luckily, the tires were good enough and didn't slip away. It was nice to finish. I just hoped everyone who crashed is okay. That's what Philipsen said there. So not much there. Okay, let's go to Pro Cycling Stats and look real quick at the finish. What are we at here? 13 minutes. We're going to call it a day. Yeah, Philipsen, let's, just for the Americans, we're going to see how we did on our day. Sepp Kuss got the same time as everyone else. So did Lawson Craddock. Kevin Vermaak loses 2 minutes. Quinn Simmons loses 3:42. He did a lot of work coming in though. The last 10, 15 kilometers up until the 3K to go. He was on the front, keeping Mads out of the way. So the Americans, as far as GC goes, Kuss leads them. How did Nelson do today? He lost 2:12. So he did a little sit up. That was an easy day for Nelson. I mean, the day for the most part was really, really lax. It was, they were going pretty slow. It was kind of boring. And then he obviously sat up and had it even easier. But anyway, Matteo Jorgensen, Lawson Craddock, Vermaak, and Quinn Simmons moved down 19 places. Points. Palace is the only one in the thing there. He's also winning the KOM. Youth jersey. Jorgensen is 15th. He's not going to have a chance. Trek, 5th place in the team. EF, 18th in the team. How is Trek or EF doing for the team overall? There's 22 teams. They're down 18. I mean, Jumbo is winning that overall. And then there's the GC. And we talked about yesterday's stuff. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow's, which would be Wednesday? Stage 5. Stage 6 is Thursday. That's also got an HC category. Thursday. Friday, they go into Bordeaux. It's going to be, it's a famous stage there. Friday, Saturday, boring. Sunday, Puy de Dôme. So they hit the Puy de Dôme on Sunday. That will be interesting. I'm trying to remember, is that where Dan Martin's won before? Is that also where Matthew Van Der Poel won a few years ago and took the yellow jersey? I believe so. And if that's the case, that I like the Puy de Dome. That'll be at least fun. That'll be a good way to finish off the weekend. Then we have a rest day, and then stage 10 coming up on a week from today. Got some more climbs going in there. That's when they start going over towards the Alps area. So that's all we have. That's all we have for today. That's how about some 4th of July music? Oh, maybe not that one. Okay, everybody. Take care. Until tomorrow, stage 5. Look for Nils. Wait, before we do that, let's do some predictions. So stage 5, I predict that Nilsson Palace will get up the road and keep the KOM jersey. With that last climb, though, the HC, you're going to see the GC people play it out, and then there's going to be a chance to get out and away. And it'll be interesting. Lafay, probably maybe a chance of getting down. And Tyler, you just to bring up the route stage profile for stage 5. I'll have to go back to that one because we got to do some predictions here. Okay, so you got the Cat HC, the one, and then the Cat 1, 145, and then decent descent, but then you've got to hold it out there. So I actually believe it's going to be the GC people are going to kind of play their hand in some of this, and there's a really good chance that Wout tries to redeem himself from the failure on stage 3. Okay, so is it 3, 2, whichever one it was though that he blew it and hit his hand on the handlebars. Is that stage 2? Yeah, because then 3 is a sprint. 4 feels like a week or so, but it's only been a few days. So I think Wout is the one to kind of get this, or maybe a Mike Woods. Otherwise, you're looking at Pogacar and the 2 top guys there. Pogacar, Yates, probably a chance either Yates or Vingegaard. So I think that's where I'm going to go off of that. Other than that, a breakaway, Mike Woods or Nilsson Palace. Okay, take care, everybody.